Hi. So I have the distinct pleasure of introducing Shohreh Janfaza of Kangen Water. She has been in business for 12 years, and she's lived in Los Angeles for over 30 years. At the young age of 17, Shohreh left Iran with her younger sister to pursue education in the US. They lived on their own, just her and her sister, for 7 years since her parents were not able to leave Iran due to the revolution. Shohreh is a graduate of UCSD with a master's degree in applied science and electronics engineering. After graduating, Shohreh met her soulmate, Raymond, a chiropractor and health advocate. They have 2 daughters, Natalie and Natasha, whom she is very proud of. Shohreh enjoys spending time with her family and friends, playing with her boxer, biking, hiking, backpacking, traveling, gardening, and playing tennis. Over the 12 years, Shohreh was over 12 years ago, Shohreh was introduced to Kangen Water, antioxidant alkaline water produced by the Engenetic water system. Enagic is a Japanese manufacturer of water ionized and filtration systems, which are registered medical devices in Japan. After experiencing a range of amazing results with herself, family, and friends, she became very interested in the science behind the technology. And after extensive research, she knew she had to share this well-kept Japanese secret with the world. She joined Enagic as an independent distributor and started her mission to help educate people around the world how to better their health and help prevent disease by just changing their water. While at UC San Diego, Shohreh was offered a full scholarship from the National Science Foundation for a PhD program, and was also offered a position to do research towards the PhD program with a Nobel Prize nominee from Sweden for astrophysics, which she decided not to pursue because that was not her passion. However, Shohreh is passionate, compassionate, and believes in going the extra mile. Her favorite quotes: treat people the way that you want to be treated. Never, ever give up. And the last, if you lose yourself in an obsessive desire to make yourself useful to others, you will find yourself through the voluntary recognition of the good you are doing. Ladies and gentlemen, Shohreh Janfaza.
Good morning, everybody. We want to talk about Kangen Water, right?
And drinking.
Yes, please drink the water in the bottles. That's Kangen, and so here we go.
Again.
So, I want to ask you a question. Is water just water? Just any water is the same? So,
No.
Right, so we're going to try to find out more about it today. No?
I think you hit the wrong button, Shohreh.
I am?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
There you go.
So I'm just going to give you a minute of science because, I don't want to bore you. So, human bodies hate being acidic, right? And this is how we feel when we are acidic. And, so this is how we feel when we're alkaline, right? And this is what happens. We are acidic. We are kind of sad. So when your body is acidic, what happens? We get all these symptoms: weight gain, fatigue, depression, irritability, and on and on and on. And and the worst is, though, we get disease, right? So when our bodies are alkaline, we get these symptoms. We reduce stress, better sleep, natural high, reduce inflammation, and the best of all, longer life. Now, who wants to live longer? Right? Now, why did I choose to get involved with Kangen? After all, I was an engineer nerd, only interested in physics and math and being in a library. So it all started sort of like this. So I get married to my soulmate husband, and so I decided to support him building a practice, right? So at the time, and the practice was, it just was a rocket, right? So we started doing really well. And what happened, we were advised to buy a piece of real estate, another piece of real estate for tax purposes. Well, horrible timing. So what happened? Interest rates went up, real estate crashed, and at the same time they had changed healthcare laws. So now we were in trouble because you know what? We weren't able to make our monthly payments. So can you imagine the stress? I was under a lot of stress. Okay, so with 2 young kids, and so you know what happens when we have stress? One of the symptoms is, guess what? Our bodies become acidic, all right? So, interestingly, at the time I didn't know, but Dr. Horst Filzer, who's a cardiovascular surgeon from Harvard, he did a study on human subjects. So he put them under stress, now not emotional stress, but physical stress, called working out. And then he looked at their blood before and after. And then he also compared 2 groups of people, half of them with regular water after the workout and half of them with Kangen water. And so this is what he witnessed. He saw inflammatory markers had gone up in the blood, show up, and the body is acidic because you create lactic acid, right? And then in addition to that, the oxidation level went up. But with Kangen water, he noticed the dramatic reduction in inflammation. Now, inflammation is linked to all disease, right? So, of course, I didn't know any of this. But what happened, though, I experienced the side effects of stress. What happened? I started having health issues, because that's what happens when you're under stress. So, health issues, right? So and then to top it off, a medical doctor wanted to do a simple procedure on me, and I ended up at the ER. I almost died, but thank God I did not become a statistic, okay? A lot of harm was done. But you know, I learned that anything bad that happens potentially in life, something really good, there's something behind it. And what happened through that experience, I found out what my calling was. So, why? Because a few months after what happened, my husband came home and said, I want to invest in a water machine. And now, you can imagine, we had no credit, I had no money. My focus was just saving the ship, you know, with 2 young kids. And I'm a scientist, I don't believe anything. Well, I gotta do research, right? I mean, you know, come on, water is just water, right? And on top of it, I'm Persian, I'm Jewish, and, you know, and on, right? So, it was not an easy sell, okay? So, but thank God, I knew he knew what he was talking about, you know? He said, trust me, I know what this is, we need this for us. So guess what? We had to borrow the down payment because, you know, in AGIC, and this is what I love about this company, they have such compassion for people, they extend credit to anybody, credit or no credit. Okay, so because they believe that everyone needs to have one of these machines, right? So we borrow the money, we put the down payment in, and let me tell you what happened then. The impact, the health effects of this water, the impact it had on everyone in the family was so tremendous that, I mean everyone but me, because before it, I used to wake up, I felt I was in a coma. Why was it? Because I was hypoglycemic, my blood sugar was really low. I had no energy, I was depressed. My skin, my hair, I mean, you know, I was a mess, okay? So I realized that after drinking the water, I'm not having those symptoms anymore. You know what? That got me. So what happened? I started looking into it. You know, and I was a scientist thing anyway. You know, I loved science, so I started doing research. And I dissected I brought the, engine of the machine. I dissected it, I researched it, and the more I read, the more I realized, oh my God, this is amazing, right? This company's been around back then, 35 years in Japan. The Japanese are the longest lived people on the planet, okay? And yes, water is only one part of it, but guess what? It's a huge part, because we are 70% water, right? This device is a registered medical device in Japan. You know how huge that is? That means the AMA of Japan has approved this as a medical device. Now, you gotta think about that, right? It's not just a water filter. And so that basically, I was so intrigued. I knew that this was something that I had to share with people. I had no interest in sales and marketing whatsoever. But you know what? Out of just my compassion and caring, what happened? I became one of the top distributors. I've received, thank you, so many awards throughout the years. I don't like to talk about it, but you know what? It's all about compassion and caring and what this company is about. So I just visited Osaka, right there, and this is the factory. And I was even more stunned with the care that they take in making sure that every machine is built, so anyway. And so they just planted a tree in our name in Okinawa, Japan, for our accomplishment. So, and I'm a certified trainer by Najik, and there's only a handful of us in the world. So, and there's my favorite guy. He's the CEO and the founder of Najik. He's an amazing soul. So, is water just water? It's not. So, I want to ask you for something. This is a gift to humanity. Everyone needs to know about it. Now, my job is to educate, right? And then it's your decision. It's up to you to make a choice, right? And I need your help because I like to be able to train other people all throughout the world so they can take this and educate other people, because there is a better way. You can prevent. You don't have to wait until, I could have died. And I had a friend who died like that, went into a coma. So one last thing, we have free financing if you have good credit for a year, we can finance any of the machines, and if you don't have credit, we can still finance you. So, thank you.
All right, let's hear from Dr. Shohreh Janfaza.